Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the House of Kayfabe. I'm Brian Resner. I'm with Steven Barker and Derek Jones, and we are thinking about CM Punk. Yes, we are, because CM Punk kind of did the unthinkable this week. Now, from what I understand, he was in an airplane and just happened to be on the same flight as a lot of WWE wrestlers. The WWE wrestlers, of course, talk to CM Punk. CM Punk ends up showing up at the building. He has conversations with The Miz. He has conversations with Triple H. And all of this happens at the arena that they are doing Raw in Chicago. That is very interesting, Steven Barker.
CM Punk has reached a I don't give a fuck in his professional life. I think that he knows and he sees these ratings at AEW, and they're now starting in the 800,000s. They're not even sniffing a million. Not anymore, not in the last couple of weeks. I think this man knows that he has hand. If you're a Seinfeld fan, he has hand. He can do whatever he wants to. I can tell you that Tony Khan stays up at night worrying about the CM Punk problem. That is an absolute 100% certainty. I think that because I tend to think good about him because I love him so much. I think it was just like, hey man, all of my friends are in town, and the added bonus is it will fuck with AEW and blow the internet up. He's working just like Matty does and Nikki does when he calls Brian Alvarez, except, he gets to actually show up in the main, the mainstream main event promotion. I need CM Punk back in the AEW because I have not been able to watch the AEW in months. And because WWE's been so good, and we've talked about this before, Brian, when WWE's great, it makes everything underneath that better. Because people are liking wrestling. Like after I watched WrestleMania 2 was meh. The day one was heaven. Man, let's watch some AEW. I tried to watch that Wednesday after WrestleMania and it was fucking unwatchable except for MJF. So CM Punk, he's coming back to AEW. We know that for a fact. Derek Jones, the human wrestling encyclopedia, the mayor of AEW Twitter, lover of all things the Young Bucks and CM Punk. Derek, what should happen? What needs to happen?
It should have happened a long time ago. It's not what should happen now. But if we want to talk what should happen now, he needs to come back to work. The Bucks need to get over themselves, and they need to do business. There's so much real animosity going on out in the world that if they could figure out how to squash that behind closed doors and not spread it to the dirt sheets and not put it on public forum and not put it on social media and continue doing what they're doing in public, but work while they're doing it, they would boost those ratings. They would make some serious money because people want to see these matches because they know that sometimes in wrestling things happen and people get hurt. And that's what they're going to want to watch to see is who punches the other person in the face for real the first time. Why not figure out a way to do that now?
I am 100% behind you in your thoughts, Derek Jones. The reason why I am with you on this is because everyone has done it. We have seen people who did not like each other work each other night after night after night after night because that's what this business is supposed to be about. I mean, I'm sure it's about a lot more things than just that.
But it's about money.
It is about, and it's about who draws money. And right now, if you're looking at the AEW and you've got Steven Barker on a podcast talking shit about you every chance he gets and how much people are watching your product, the one thing that you want to do to shut a Steven Barker up is make an angle like this real. Make it feel real. If you want, look at all of the successful promotions in the history of the world. They got big by making you believe. That is what ECW did. That's what WCW did. That's what WWE did time and time and time again throughout history. There were times when you didn't know, where the lines were blurred. Well, the lines are fucking blurred for you guys right now. It's all set up for you. All you have to do is work. You're making millions of dollars. All you have to do is work. You got a billionaire who has literally devoted his life to this project, and you can't just come to work and make it work. That's my issue with the whole thing, is they have the power in their hands to make AEW not only work, but work in a competing level, and all the while show America who Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks are, because I don't think they actually know yet.
They
Because
don't.
if they did know, they'd be watching, and they're not. So if you want to be as big of a star here in America that you were in Japan, which you totally can be, I love Kenny Omega. Like, I love Kenny Omega. I don't care who doesn't like Kenny Omega. I think Kenny Omega is amazing, but he can't be amazing in the United States until he gets that rub from someone on the level of a CM Punk. You have that opportunity. It's here in front of you. Just come to work.
Here's the thing, though. If we believe everything we hear on the internet, of course I do, Kenny Omega, it's not Kenny Omega and CM Punk. It's not those two. That's not where the issue is. The issue, smack dab in the middle of Matty and Nikki and CM Punk and Ace Steel. Matty and Nikki are scared of CM Punk. So that is your issue. I'm going to pop Derek Jones right now. If Kurt Angle and Jeff Jarrett can go around the circle, and Jeff Jarrett has freshly peeled Kurt Angle's family from him, took his wife from him, his kids live with Jeff Jarrett now. Those motherfuckers work constantly and not once. And both of them have said it. And to Jeff Jarrett's credit, he always wanted to make sure that people knew. Because let's be honest, if Kurt Angle wanted to fucking mangle Jeff Jarrett, he's going to get mangled. And not one time did those two, man, Derek, during that feud, how many times did they wrestle?
A lot. And so the crazy thing about that is it was going on in the background before anybody ever even knew about it, before they ever projected it on TV. I was at the Impact Zone when the rumors started going, and it had already happened, but they were getting ready to start the storyline on TV. But in real life, that shit already happened.
And to a lesser extent, there wasn't marriage and kids involved, but dude, Edge and Matt Hardy was completely professional.
Absolutely.
There's precedent for this. And I think I think it's generational. And Derek, I'm going to shit on your generation. I just want you to know, I don't think it's you. Like CM Punk, he's kind of a Gen Xer. He's our age, Brian. And fucking the Maddie and Nikki are, millennials. And if millennials had like an inner monologue sound, it'd be, so that is the problem with what we have here. CM Punk has already said, I'll work with anybody. I'll even work with Jericho, and he's buried that guy. And Jericho has used his political maneuvering after all this to get right beside of Tony Khan, right? So if CM Punk is ready to go, here's the problem with, and we try not to make this into an economics lesson. If you have a product that is subsidized by a bigger entity, that company is not incentivized to make money. Tony Khan needs to say, hey, Nikki and Maddie, and CM Punk too, I'm losing money. AEW doesn't make money. It's impossible. There's no possible way. The first, Derek, you probably know this, the top 15 or 20 people, their combined salaries is the same that they get from TNT. So the TNT TV deal pays for the top 15 or 20 people who make money. They have like 150 motherfuckers on the roster. Tony Khan, this is where you need a Vince McMahon who's got some grapefruits. Tony Khan, that little fucking weaselly, bleh, he needs to get some balls, or maybe go tell his dad. We may hear something like that. Come down here and be a man about this and say, I'm losing my ass. You all need to go make me some money. That's the whole ball game right there. This is all Tony Khan's fault for being a fucking pussy. Derek Jones, you know I'm right.
You're not wrong. And he should be. He should be the one to say, I'm paying you to work. Come to fucking work. But again, it should have started from the beginning. And like you said, I'm a huge CM Punk fan. Went and watched him get beat in UFC. Like I
Was it
went and
Mickey
watched
Gall?
him.
Did you see Mickey
I
Gall beat
was
him up?
I was in Cleveland when Mickey Gall beat him up. I was there. Okay, huge Young Bucks fan. I love all of them. I hate that mom and dad are fighting, but when CM Punk got on camera and said, "If you got a problem with me, come find me," and they went and found him. Okay, so both sides agreed. We have a problem. We're here to talk about it, but they didn't talk about it. They fought about it. Man, the fuck up and get over it.
But this is where you need to watch the Steve New video that's been viewed by many, many people. They brought their lawyer. If you're at the cold camp that you grew up in, or if I'm in the holler that I grew up in, and we have decided to have a fight, I can't bring the number 2 in the company, Mega, whatever her fucking name is, the number 2. They showed up with their lawyer. That's not like what you're saying, like in Seattle, they have that law where if it's agreed upon combat. Mm-hmm. You can fist fight in the streets of Seattle as long as both persons has verbally said, I want to fight you. I waive my rights or whatever. It's a thing. You're right, but you're wrong because they brought their fucking lawyer and they brought 3 guys to fight 2 guys and a woman in a cast and a dog. So it's not as easy as 2 men taking care of things. Right, so, it wasn't that easy.
All right. So I'm looking at Punk and Steel, Matt and Nick. The third
and
guy,
Kenny Omega.
He doesn't count.
He's there.
He don't count.
He's in the room and he got bit. That something happened.
Right. And I see that. And I know, Brian, you love Omega. And I'm not even going to pretend like I like Omega because I'm not a huge fan. But he seems like a weenie to me.
And so do the Bucks. What are you talking about? Their whole gimmick is to be hated because they're such smarmy little weenies. Most people don't see them as like some cool badass. Those are the fucking kids who played Magic the Gathering who went to tumble class. Everyone sees them as weenies. Kenny Omega is more tougher looking and probably tougher than those guys.
I'm about to pull a deck of Magic cards out, and you and me are gonna throw down because I have the whole deck. Right, I've got a box right here of like 6 decks.
Well, there's your problem right there.
Yeah, I was going to say, Steve Barker, you might not want to go into the Magic the Gathering thing because it tends to be something that wrestling fans do on the side. So
the stereotypes are right, Brian.
You guys are 100% right, though, about this situation when it comes to just man up. Like, I don't care what happened. I really do not care what happened in the locker room that evening. I thought that press conference was fucking entertaining. And I think that another press conference would be even more entertaining. I would push this thing to the max. Like you guys were talking about Matt Hardy and Edge. You were talking about Jeff Hardy and Kurt Angle. Well, you know what? The greatest match and maybe the greatest feud of all time sprung from something just like that. And that's Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. They hated each other's guts, but they worked together every night. They were doing this at house shows. They were doing it on TV. They were doing it on pay-per-views. They were doing it for 60 fucking minutes at WrestleMania. And they hated each other. And that's more similar to what's going on with CM Punk and the Bucks and Kenny Omega. And you know why it's more similar? Because those other 2 guys we mentioned actually had a real reason to fucking hate each other. And they still showed up for work. And they still gave us what we came to see. And that's supposed to be what this whole thing's about. It's supposed to be about delivering a product to a fan base that wants to believe that you're a fucking superhero. And all you have to do is do what you're supposed to do, and we will cheer you, and we will buy your stuff, and we will get on podcasts and talk about you, and we will talk of you as if you were gods among men. But first,
immortals.
But first, you have to show up for work. It reminds me of the new episode of South Park where they're talking about taking off work for mental health days.
Ugh.
Like, please, guys, don't be those guys. Just show up for work.
Okay, so I want to put it back on you because I think Derek should end this question. So we all 3, and we very rarely agree, that it's time to nut the fuck up. Let's come and let's make some money and let's entertain the marks. Now, Derek's going to know more about this. I want to hear what you have to say about it, and I want Derek to give us more details. It looks like we're not going to get that, and it looks like there's going to be a third. There's going to be a brand split. We're going to have a show on Saturday, and if I'm not mistaken, Derek Jones, it's called Collision. And CM Punk is going to be working exclusively on Collision, and the Elite are going to be working on Dynamite, and None Shall Pass. And we're going to have a brand split essentially in AEW. So, Brian, how's that touch you?
Well, I think it's terrible. I think you guys are fucking morons. You have the opportunity to do something incredible here, and you're trying to come up with every excuse why you can't do it. I don't care if your feelings are hurt. I don't care about any of the shit that you obviously care about. And I don't think anyone else does too. And if you look really deep into your souls, I think you will find that you don't care either, because it's bullshit. Let it go and show up for work. It's so simple to give us what we want and what we need as fans. Like CM Punk, I want CM Punk back. I want CM Punk to be doing something. And I guarantee you, when he showed up at the WWE to have conversations, you were saying that he just doesn't give a fuck in his professional life anymore. I disagree.
I don't think he cares.
I think he showed up at AEW thinking I am going to at AEW. When he showed up at AEW, I think when he showed up at AEW, he said, I am going to take the world by storm, and I am going to have the greatest run of all time. And he showed up, and there was a bunch of lunatics running the asylum. And he was like, wow, so this is what it's like to not work for the WWE? And now that his contract is up in arms and we don't know, is he coming back? Is there going to be a brand split? Are they going to have to, not look at each other, or whatever this stupid shit calls for? Why not go to the WWE and see if I can get those guys to be friends with me again? Because I talked a lot of shit, but I really didn't mean it, guys. You guys run a company like you're supposed to. I'd really like to come back and end my career. That's what he needs. He needs to be able to end his career on a high note. And if we continue down this road, we're not going to be able to do that. And I don't understand why the Elite's going to be on the other show, but CM Punk's going to go at it with Jericho, when him and Jericho have talked more shit than the Elite talked about CM Punk. Oh, is that because Jericho's a real wrestler and he shows up for work?
Yeah. Derek, give us more on the rundown. And for someone who knows so much about AEW and knows how deep their roster is, can this be a good thing? Because then we can see cats like Miro again, maybe, possibly.
A third show is going to be great. I don't always agree with the brand split, but a third show, absolutely. Considering every time we get on one of these podcasts or in our group chat, Stephen Barker says AEW is getting shut down tomorrow.
I haven't said that in a while.
Every time that somebody is merging and something's happening, AEW is going down. They're not going to keep them. But not only are they keeping them, they're giving them 2 more hours to do something with.
And it's because if you're keeping up with it, it's because Discovery Warner has specifically said
want CM Punk on their programming.
We want CM Punk on our programming.
Yes, he is that valuable and that vital. As a performer, the Young Bucks can do whatever it is that they're doing. But if they're going to be true EVPs, they need to pay attention to what's being said. They need to listen to, hey, these people that give us money say they want that guy that draws money to be on their programming. Get the fuck over yourselves and go make money. If Tony Khan's not going to do it, then Discovery needs to come in and say, hey, you guys need to get the fuck over yourselves.
So now are you saying, real quick, so Derek, are you saying that you're just, as the biggest wrestling fan in the world, you're just like, Saturday wrestling, 2 more hours, and are you just cool that it's just another program? But are you going to like it if it is a CM Punk centric over here, Elite over here, None Shall Pass, or where you at?
Listen, I have to watch Cody on Mondays and the Bucks on Wednesdays and Sammy and Kevin Owens on Fridays. I get to watch good wrestling all week long. If they want to put CM Punk on a program on Saturday, followed by a cast of others involved in AEW or WWE or Ring of Honor, we could have CM Punk and Samoa Joe every Saturday.
I'm with it.
Where's the problem?
Well,
because then we don't get the match that we've been yelling about.
There is a problem, but it's okay. It's a good problem to have. But the problem is there's so much potential there that they're squandering. And that's what I'm upset about. I will say, I really hope that this does get Miro back on television. And I hope he runs wild with God's favorite wrestler gimmick. That's going to be huge for him because he'll be on a show with CM Punk, a show that people actually watch. And that would be awesome. But I will say that them splitting the two, first of all, nobody's watching Rampage hardly. You're going to get it on Saturday. So we're going to watch on Friday and on Saturday.
No, nobody's going to watch on Friday except for Derek, and everyone's going to wait for CM Punk on Saturday. If you believe Dave Meltzer, and that's between you and your God, he says that if the number is comparable to what they make on Dynamite, it is worth $52 million to the company for a new show with CM Punk on it. That's how much Warner Brothers wants him back.
Well, and that's great. But I will say this one thing is Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks are the perfect example of someone getting romanced into complacency. Success has romanced them into complacency where they were so successful in New Japan, in a land that is not here, that they believe they don't even have to try. We don't have to come to work. We don't have to feud with CM Punk. We don't have to make this money and make ourselves off of this guy because we've already made it. But you haven't in America. And this is your door to doing that. And you're passing on that door. Sorry, Derek Jones.
You're good. So here's what I hope for. I hope that what happens is you get all of them back to work, just working. And it will slowly integrate them back together. And what you'll do is they record Rampage. It's not a live show. It's recorded in addition to Dynamite. So maybe it'll be recorded in addition to Dynamite and in addition to Collision. And some episodes of Rampage will feature the Young Bucks and CM Punk, even though they were not in the same arenas together at the same time, but they might be on the same show and just slowly mend fences.
Well, okay, with your slowly mending fences, there is an elephant in the room, Derek Jones, and that elephant is a 90,000 seat capacity soccer stadium in Great Britain, one of my favorite places in the world, England, if you will, jolly old. And how are they going to get? Now, I know that if you believe
Sting's retirement match is going to be held in Wembley.
Well, right now it looks, if you believe on the internet, that 40 to 45,000 tickets have already been sold. That's about half.
Not sold, signed up for.
Okay. So let's assume that, if 80% of that goes through, that's still pretty good, but that's still, you got 50,000 more people. Derek Jones, what is the one match? It's not going to be MJF and fucking Darby Allin. What is the one match? And when is the date of that show? That's the match. That's where it has to happen.
It's if you want to sell out Wembley right now, in addition to the rumor of Sting's retirement, you have the Bucks and Omega versus Punk and FTR as your main event.
I'm going to end this video with this because we are going a little bit long, and I want to go with Brian Resner. I know that you are the really big Eric Bischoff fan here. And did you hear Eric Bischoff's podcast?
I sure did.
Let's just go ahead and repeat it for the good people. And I'd like to just get your honest reaction to this. He challenged Tony Khan, Eric Bischoff, the man who beat WWE for 83 weeks, the only man who could say that he did that, has said, Tony Khan, you need to get a set of balls and you need to have CM Punk versus Goldberg in the Wembley Stadium. Now, Brian, don't book with your heart. Does that sell the stadium out? And then book with your heart.
No, okay, sure. You can set me up in that manner. And I would say that if I'm booking with my heart, then I would say absolutely not. I don't want to see that. No one wants to see that. Please don't bring Bill Goldberg to AEW. Please don't do that. Like I would be so upset if that was the main event of Wembley Stadium. The sad part is though, he's right. It would sell out Wembley Stadium. No doubt about it. Those people in the UK would definitely buy tickets to be in the same room as Bill Goldberg. It would not be because he's going to do at the show. And you're probably going to kill CM Punk in that match. There will be an injury that takes him completely out of wrestling. So I hope it's worth all the marbles because you're definitely rolling all the marbles down the lane at that point. I think you could achieve the same thing with Wardlow and Goldberg and put CM Punk in the match with FTR and the Young Bucks at Omega and do a lot better at Wembley Stadium. But Eric Bischoff's right. Goldberg would sell out Wembley Stadium. He's never been, as far as I know, has he ever been to the UK?
I know WCW wasn't going to the UK, were they?
He may have. If he went to the UK, I bet it sold out then too.
He might have done a European tour when he first come back to WWE.
Maybe
he may have. Maybe he did. Maybe he did. It doesn't matter. If he did, he sold it out then. If he didn't, he'll damn sure sell it out now. If you had Goldberg show up to go up against Wardlow or Powerhouse Hobbs and just somebody that he can jackknife and take out right there at Wembley Stadium, you could have that one match pay for the whole damn thing.
Dude, Derek Jones as the speaker for your people. How many boos would Goldberg get if the man who epitomizes everything that an AEW fan doesn't like?
Wait. Before you, are you talking about the people sitting at home?
No.
Because they're the ones that would be booing. You're not going to find your diehard AEW fans in the UK.
Right.
Okay.
They're coming.
Okay.
They're coming because there are stars in AEW that used to be in the WWE. That's why they're coming. They're not coming because they're watching AEW every week. They're not coming because they're Tony Hawk or Tony Khan marks. They're not coming for any of those reasons. They're coming because CM Punk's there. Daniel Bryan's there. Cesaro is there.
A bunch of WWE guys are there.
Yeah, they're going to be chanting Dean Ambrose. That's what they're going to be chanting. It's not an AEW thing. So how many boos would Goldberg get? None.
Derek, would you and your people turn your back on AEW because again, let me go through my whole thing. Goldberg is the epitome. He is the pinnacle of everything that the modern wrestling fan doesn't like. He's got muscles. He looks like he can beat people up. He's a legitimate athlete. He's a terrible worker, low work rate, terrible on the mic. He is, if you were to make something that would like make an AEW person like, what would the word for it be? Allergic to wrestling. You would give them Goldberg tablets, right? So what would your people do? Would you lead them out of the valley of death away from AEW if they brought Goldberg in?
It would be rough. It would be rough. But Brian's right. So the UK doesn't have a major wrestling promotion. They have Rev Pro, and that's it. So anytime people
Irish Whip is gone. Is Irish Whip gone?
I think so. So they've got Rev Pro and they've got ICW, the Insane Championship Wrestling that runs out of Scotland. I mean, that's all they've got. And both of those companies do very well to be what they are, but they're not the WWE. They're not AEW. They're barely
not Ring of Honor. They're not Ring of Honor.
Right. So the fans are going to go so they can say, "I've seen this person," no matter who it is.
Right.
It doesn't matter. I seen this guy this night in Wembley do his thing, period. Yeah. Now, when they came back and Goldberg's still on the roster and they send him to Jacksonville to have a match, he's probably going to get booed.
God, I want that to happen.
Send him to Chicago, he's probably going to get booed.
I want it to happen so bad. Somebody do
because
this.
At that point, he's going to be almost like what John Cena was, late title reign to the WWE. He's going to be what they don't want.
Do all that. You're thinking way too far into this. You don't even have to do that. One night, one payday. One send off. Not only is it Sting's retirement, actually save Sting's retirement party for the fucking United States.
Where people
Save
care.
it, yeah. Save it for the United States
I think
and
they should
do
do it in Atlanta.
Goldberg's. Yeah, they should do it in Atlanta and do Goldberg's retirement party in the fucking UK. That'll make a whole lot of sense. I don't even care. Send him off right there. That's where you send him off, is Wembley Stadium, and save Sting for Atlanta.
Wrap us up, Brian.
Well, I will tell you, we've talked a lot about CM Punk. We've talked a lot about this situation, and really it just comes down to it's time to go back to work. It's time to go back to work and get done what needs to be done, which is this match, this feud. I mean, really, if Kenny Omega's not the problem, then leave the Bucks at home and let Omega and Punk do it. You can do it with just two guys. It's fine. The Bucks can stay home on a mental health break and let us get all this done. Because that's what men do, and this is a man's sport. And a woman's sport too. Don't get me in the comments again.
What about the
All right.
in-between?
Yeah, it's that sport too.
That is a DEREKJONES for the comment section.
Don't comment, Matt Mullins. Don't comment. I support trans rights. Get out of here.
Okay, so like that's the whole ball game, right? We've got to just and I'll wrap it up with this unless Derek wants to end it. The WWE has had up until the last couple weeks one of the best, strongest runs with some of their best, strongest ratings. Stuff that was so good that there were TV bloggers writing articles about the Bloodline should have won an Emmy, being like the best storyline on all of television, right? And then Cody Rhodes is selling more t-shirts than anybody in the WWE. Right now, the WWE is hot as it's ever been. AEW is at its lowest it's ever been. You gotta fucking, like, if that doesn't make you, it feels like Tony Khan just wants friends and he doesn't want to compete. The thing about Vince McMahon and Eric Bischoff is they wanted to fucking win. And one did for a little bit, and the one did bigger than everybody. Tony Khan, because he's subsidized, again, he's got money. There will never be a day where his great grandkids won't have fucking money, right? That's kind of multi-generational wealth that he's dealing with. So he's not coming to the table worrying about making money. The only way you're going to get to Tony Khan is this. Do you want to be seen as great and as big as the WWE ever? You got about 80 years to go. This will be the first time, because it wasn't Kenny Omega and fucking Dean Ambrose in an exploding ring match. It was MJF versus Daniel Bryan. That's the highest point of that whole fucking promotion. Now, do you want to be immortal? Do you want to be that? Or are you trying to pay your friends to be friends with you? And that's what this whole thing feels like, because no one's in control, because Tony Khan is a coked out pussy, allegedly. That's what it comes down to.
Allegedly. All right. Well, tomorrow I am actually headed to Springville, I believe, spring something, to go see Dynamite live. And last time I went to see Dynamite live, I got to meet Tony Khan. This time, maybe I'll go live when I meet Tony Khan. Maybe.
I'll show you how to do that on your phone. I'll show you how to do that on your phone.
All right. Well, fantastic. I will be there live and in the house. I'm second row. So it should be a good time at Dynamite tomorrow. And I'm really curious to see what that crowd looks like. Because if you can't draw a crowd in the pro wrestling capital of the world, which is Florida, then I'm not sure what you're going to be able to accomplish nationwide on the grand scale once no one shows back up for work. Please show up to work, guys. This is Brian Resner, and for Stephen Barker and Derek Jones, please keep it locked and come right back to see us here on the House of Kayfabe.
Here we go.